Hello, everyone. This is Independent Conservative. I'm Ryan Bolin. Thank you all for joining me. So, as you all know, Caitlin Clark, the female basketball player who is rocking the world of women's sports, is about to sign a contract with the WNBA. And the amount of money that she's supposed to be getting is around like a little bit over $300,000 a year. And there's a lot of backlash in reference to the amount of money that she's getting. And the reason for that is because the idea is, hey, this woman is like on top of the world. She's like the best out there. This is what I'm hearing personally. I don't watch women's basketball and I don't hardly watch men's basketball, okay? But I watch a lot of videos and I read up on what these people are doing. And apparently she's really doing it up. And there's a lot of complaints about the amount of money that she's going to get paid yearly, even though she's like the number one basketball player in terms of women's sports is concerned. Like she's like, really, but she's going to get a little over $300,000 a year. So people are bothered by that. They're like, wait a minute, this just is not fair. Well, we're going to get into this article and we're going to find out why it's not fair. We're going to find out why it's not fair, okay? So let's get right into this. Yeah. Sometimes what is not always what people think it ought to be. What you think it should be fair, is it really being unfair or is something else going on here? Because at the end of the day, it's always about the money, okay? So let's look into this. Caitlin Clark is the most famous athlete in women's sports. The most popular was actually a female, and she just got drafted number one overall in the WNBA. But that doesn't mean everyone is happy. Clark went to the Indiana Fever with the number one overall pick in the 2024 WNBA draft, a move that surprised no one as Clark was far and away the best player in women's college basketball and long predicted to go number one. Not long after the draft, details of Clark's contract was posted online. And apparently this is what I guess the contract says. Rookie contract says 4 years. And here's, I'm going to correct something. It's actually saying in 4 years, $338,056. So in 2024, it's supposed to be $76,535. 2025, $78,000. 2026, $85,000, and 2027, $97,000, and that's basically optional. And so it's like within them 4 years, that's how much she would basically accumulate, and so that's like pennies, right? Compared to her male counterparts, But let's go further. Let's see what's going on here. Clark hasn't signed the deal yet, though she's expected to. The contract is standard fare for the WNBA, with the largest single-year payout backloaded into the final option year. So what that seems to suggest to me is that she's getting paid more, or will be getting paid more than others would be, okay? No biggie, right? Wrong, the article says. Social media users who think Clark should be paid much more blasted the deal as an insult to Clark and women. And according to Spot Rat, I'm sorry, let me read this. Yeah, according to Zez Dead, says they need to pay them more. That's ridiculous. Okay, why? Why do they need to pay them more, right? I mean, you go into that, you need to elaborate a little bit more, Excuse me. According to DJ Epic, third round picks must be getting paid in chicken tenders and Red Bull sheaths, whatever that means. Hopefully she is getting a percentage of jersey sales. Okay. Let's go on. Haler Report says, teacher salary for a superstar is wow. The WNBA has to do better. This is unacceptable. So you can see all these, people saying, this is just not right. Woo, woo, woo. Let me read you one more. IME says, biggest woman's hooper in the world is getting paid an entry-level consultant salary. In other words, that's a problem, right? Well, let's go on with what the article says here, which is what I believed from the beginning as well, okay? The article goes on to say, however, in exhibit number 8009, 111 of how women are frequently their own worst enemy, while Clark, let me read that again. However, in exhibit number 8009, 111. I don't know what that means exactly. Correct me in the comment box, but the way we have this written, it just doesn't seem readable. I don't know, But anyway, it says of how women are frequently their own worst enemy, while Clark's contract pales compared to that of number one picks in men's sports. That's because women don't support the WNBA. I keep saying NWA. The WNBA. The WNBA began by then NBA Commissioner Davis Stern in 1996, has never turned a profit. And why hasn't it turned a profit? Because the women the league is designed to cater to do not go to the games, watch the games on TV, or buy the merchandise. And let me add to that too. Okay, we could argue too that the women do not support these games that the games are supposed to be catering to. But not only that, a significant number of men don't support it neither. And when I see these women's basketball games and so forth, I don't see a lot of men in the seats as well. So not only do the women not, go there to buy the tickets, but a lot of the men are not doing it as well. Okay. As Bill Burr once asked, where are the feminists? Who are supposed to be supporting the WNBA? I'll tell you, sir, where Mr. Burr, where the feminists are. The feminists are out complaining that these women are not getting their fair amount of money. The feminists are out complaining and bashing men and destroying the image of men. You want to know why, sir? You want to know why? Because feminism is not about equality of women. If it was about equality of women, then why are the feminists silent? Taking a sidebar here about these so-called feminists. Then why are feminists silent when men who want to be women compete in women's sports and beat the women out just about every single time? You don't never hear feminists complaining about the inequality in that, right? You want to know why? The reason for that is because it's not about bringing equality to women. It's about destroying the image of men. It's about demonizing men and destroying the patriarchal head and replacing it with a matriarchal head. That's what feminism is all about. So, of course, Mr. Burr, the reason why the feminists are not involved in the WNBA and the reason why they're not supporting it, and the reason why they're not crying out about it, because that's not their goal. Their goal is to destroy your image, sir. Their goal is to put you down and make you evil and say you're the cause of all their problems. That's their goal. That's why you don't hear them. Feminism is a bunch of bull crap, okay? It's demonic. That's why you don't hear them. Not about equality. It's not about bringing equality to women. If it was, by now women would be equal. Stop it. Anyway, let's go on. Last year's number one overall pick in the NBA draft signed a 4-year, $55 million contract. Quite a difference between his deal and Clark's $338,000. You know what else is a big difference? The article goes on to say, the amount of money the NBA made last year and the amount of money that the WNBA made, which still doesn't amount to a profit. The NBA earned $10.5 billion in 2023. According to reports, the WNBA had revenues between $180 million and $200 million. While this is a significant jump from 2019, when the league earned $102 million, it isn't even in the same area code as the NBA. These numbers could and should improve with Clark's playing in the league. However, if feminists and supporters of women's sports really care, they would have gone up a long time ago. End of article there. I agree on that. Yeah. Because what people have to understand and what all the naysayers have to understand about Caitlin Clark getting this amount of money, supposedly getting this amount of money, which is minuscule compared to the NBA, what they have to understand is that the NBA, the WNBA, and these sports figure or these sports institutions operate based on the amount of people that buy your tickets, to buy the tickets to see your game. Their pay is commensurate with the amount of money they make from the ticket sales and perhaps some other things, but mainly from the ticket sales. If no one's coming to see the games, you're not earning a profit. For the most part, from what I understand, that's how the NBA makes a profit, and that's how the WNBA makes a profit. Maybe perhaps clue me in the comment box below, but maybe perhaps they make profits in other ways. But I would assess that the main way in which the NBA and the WNBA makes a profit in terms of paying the players is based on the amount of people that buy the tickets. And as the article says, the hope is that Caitlin Clark, because she's so good, okay, and because she's the number one pick, that this would draw more people to go see her. But when and if she signs the contract, okay, but let's just see what happens. You can't demand something if it's not there. If it's not there based on profit. You can't demand people pay you more money. It's like a regular job, regular 9-to-5 job. People getting upset, with companies and businesses, by complaining and saying, you guys need to pay us more money because the cost of living is going up and our paycheck is not going up. But that is not the fault of the businesses necessarily. That's not the fault of the business. That's not the fault of the company that you work for. Okay, that's the fault of the government. I'm not going to go into the detail of that. But it is not the fault of businesses. Okay, that's number one. But number two, the pay that you get, number one, the pay that I get, I agreed to that amount of money. When I signed the contract on the job, I agreed you're going to pay me $15 an hour, $16 an hour. That was an agreed upon amount. I consciously agreed when I signed the papers that I'm going to get paid $15 an hour or $16 an hour or $13 an hour, whatever. I constantly agree with that. Now, to get upset and poot and fart and snot because the cost of living is going up, but my pay is not going up, is that fair to the business? No. Did the business say that you're going to get pay increases? If they didn't say you're going to get pay increases within a particular occupation that you're in, you might want to either try to do one or two things. Find another job that pays more, or ask the supervisor or the human resources, what do you need to do to get promoted to another position in the company that pays more. But the pay you get is commensurate with your position. Why would I give you $20 to clean the toilets? Why would I pay you $20 to flip burgers? Although they're doing that in some places in California, for what I understand, and they're paying dearly for that too. Yeah, because that's how economics work. Something the government that I can't stand doesn't seem to understand. But then again, maybe they do understand it. It's just that the government is full of communists who are trying to destroy businesses from within through legislation. But it's another story, and I digress. Yeah, well, the same principle here. Same principle here. Not only women, the feminists are hypocrites, but a lot of women don't want to see this. And what this also shows too, in terms of females that watch other female sports figures, I really honestly believe that most females just don't want to see that. A lot of these females tend to be hypocritical. They're yick and yak about equal pay, this, and the other. But really, deep in their hearts, they don't really want to see a female boxer or a female, basketball player. In their heart, it just doesn't look right. It's not really feminine to them, so they don't go to see them. But let me start closing the video on this part here about Caitlin Clark. And I heard this in part from a particular podcaster in reference to Caitlin Clark's charisma. And he made a statement that seems to be, at first glance, as I begin to watch Caitlin Clark in comparison to other female basketball players, she doesn't seem to have that. Now, what am I getting at? He made a statement about her having to perhaps up her likability meter, if you will. That she seems to not be really liked by a lot of people. And regardless of how we may feel her skills are basketball-wise, if you're not liked by the public, it's going to be a problem. And so what he was suggesting is, and I kind of agree to some extent, because, what he was suggesting is she's going to need to find someone, a public relations or whatever, marketing, that's going to market her in such a way to make her stand out. Not just her basketball skills, but make her stand out, get some charisma. Because either you have charisma or you don't. Either you have mass appeal or you don't. You can be highly skilled, but if that charisma is not there, people are going to start turning on you. I'll give you an example of female charisma, or charisma in general. But I'm dealing with the females here in particular, female sports figures and celebrities. Ronda Rousey as compared to Holly Holmes, okay? When I first heard about Ronda Rousey, I wasn't interested in UFC. I put it down. I was like, I don't watch this stuff. All they doing is getting each other on the ground and knocking each other and getting on the ground. That doesn't show great skill to me. I just was not into it. But then I heard about Ronda Rousey and how great she was and how good she was, particularly with that arm bar, man. She'd get you in that arm bar. That was it. And so I started watching some of, I started to get into this because the media was talking about her, was bragging on it. I said, let me check this out. And man, I was like, wow, this woman is dynamic. But in addition to her skills, or at least what I perceived to be skills at the time, was her personality. Yes, she was arrogant, but let's be realistic. She had charisma. People liked her. People swarmed around her. She had charisma. You could argue in part that the media has something to do with that, but not completely, because the media, excuse me, the media got a little cold there. The media is trying to promote Caitlin Clark, but it doesn't seem to be there. I'm still hearing negativity about, but with Ronda Rousey, yes, the media promoted her. Yes, the media pushed her, but Ronda Rousey had that extra, and that was charisma. That was personality, and it stood out. Yes, she was braggadocious. Yes, she bragged, but so do men. Men brag too. Okay, men sports figures brag. And people loved it. If quiet as it may be kept, people loved it, and she drew a lot of attention and made a lot of money, particularly with women's UFC fighters. Okay, she drew more people to the UFC in terms of the women than before. She had the it factor. It was Ronda Rousey had it. Now compare that with Holly Holmes, who beat Ronda Rousey. It wasn't the same. Yes, Holly Holmes may have had better fighting skills, but in my opinion, she did not have that appeal. She didn't have that charisma. Okay, now Ronda Rousey was pretty. She was attractive, but she had that charisma. That was part of it. The fact that she was attractive physically and she had charisma. She stood out. She had personality. The people like that. It is what it is. Holly Holmes did not have that. And even though Holly Holmes' fighting skills may have been a bit above Ronda Rousey's, she didn't have that charisma. She didn't have that charisma. And that's, I feel like people they weren't into her. They weren't into her. One of the things that made Muhammad Ali so loved was his charisma, his personality. He put himself out there. He had charisma. He had when Muhammad Ali came in the ring or came on TV, and your eyes was locked onto him. It was the same with Ronda Rousey, and it needs to be the same with Caitlin Clark. Eyes got to be locked on. She got to beautify herself. And I'm not putting her down. I'm just saying charisma, she doesn't have it, in my opinion. And I'm in agreement with what that guy said on the podcast. I do agree. And physically, she's not the best looking person. Now, it is what it is. I know people don't like that, but that's the way people think. That's the way the crowds are. You got to have some kind of a look, and you have to have charisma. You have to have that charisma. If you don't have that, it could be lights out for you. It could be lights out for you. So I hope that's not the case with Caitlin Clark here. Quarterly, she's very, very good. And I'm hoping that if she signs a contract, that her money will go up as more people go to see her. But it has to be more than just your skill set. It has to be charisma. It has to be likability. Because like Ronda Rousey, she had the ability, even though she may have lacked in some areas in terms of fighting skill, but she had that charisma. And when she was being interviewed, you wanted to listen to her talk. You loved to hear her talk. You loved to hear her brag. People talked about, she bragging, but most people got upset with her bragging because she was a female. If it had been anybody else, it probably wouldn't have been that much. If it had been male, they probably wouldn't have said much. Because she was a female, it was a problem. But the truth of the matter was, her doing that drew people's attention to her. And people loved it, quiet as it may be kept. So the same situation with Caitlin Clark. I think she needs to do some of those type of things to get it, because if you don't have that charisma, it could be a problem. So I just wanted to add that to that. Your pay is based on, in the NBA or WNBA, your pay and your salary is largely based on the amount of people that buy your tickets. It has nothing to do with them not being treated fairly. Okay? Because you're a woman and I'm a man and I want to make more money than you. That's not it. It's the bottom line is money. So that's what I had to say about it. What do you guys think? Leave your comments in the comment section below. Like, share, and subscribe to my channel. God bless you all. See you again.